Another great noon game on Saturday is number 18 USF at Memphis. It's on ESPN2. It's one of the biggest games of the year in the Group of Five playoff race. So even though Memphis had its undefeated season end this past weekend against UAB, Saturday's game against USF still has massive, massive implications for the Group of Five playoff race. That's because the winner of the American Conference right now is the heavy favorite to represent the Group of Five in the college football playoff. According to DraftKings Sportsbook, 5 of the top 6 favorites to represent the Group of Five in the playoff come from the American Conference right now. USF is clearly the favorite at plus 120 right now. They're the only Group of Five team that's even ranked in the top 25. Memphis is plus 950. They're fifth among Group of Five teams in odds right now. Despite the loss to UAB, they can get their playoff hopes back on track with a massive win over USF this week.
No, absolutely. I think you look at that Memphis loss really hurt them because it gives them a lot less room to breathe in a game like this or a game against Navy later in the season that they're going to play, and USF has to play Navy later on also. It's going to be a great race in the American the rest of the way, but this is one of the turning point games, absolutely. USF, the highest ranked team of the group, going on the road, playing a Memphis team that, right now, Ryan Silverfield said that Brennan Lewis is day-to-day with some sort of leg injury, took a hard hit on a sack against UAB and came out of that game. Freshman A.J. Hill had to come in and finish, but this is a huge game for both teams. I think when you talk about USF now still undefeated in conference, and that's a big thing for Memphis too. It's a second loss overall, but it's also a second loss in conference, and now you start to talk about, okay, things might not be in our own control anymore if we have a second conference loss. Plus, if you get a win, you're both at one loss and you have a tiebreaker over USF, who's going to be a prime contender in this thing. So massive playoff implications here in this conference. You're right. The most likely scenario is that the winner of this conference is going to the playoff. That race really starts, I think, with this game right here.
Absolutely. So you actually have the Memphis offense, and if Brendan Lewis is out of this game, true freshman A.J. Hill will be starting. He is very talented. He was a 4-star recruit out of high school, but Dalton, with a true freshman in this kind of massive game, they might be relying on the ground game a lot.
Yeah, no, they might. I mean, look, they're going to rely on it a lot anyway, I think. And some key guys for me are the 2 running backs, Sutton Smith and Greg DeRosier, who have been really good this year. But Brennan Lewis is also their leading rusher. So if he's either compromised, not 100%, or he's out completely, their run game takes a hit regardless, and they rely more on Smith and DeRosier to get it done on the ground. They did against Arkansas in that big win earlier in the year. What was it, almost 9 yards to carry in that game, right? The run game is dangerous, but it does get less dangerous with Lewis not in there. A.J. Hill, look, he tried to bring him back against UAB, made some good throws, also made some mistakes. A freshman quarterback thrown in a spot like that, that's tough, especially trying to come back. The story for me on this side, though, is that overall, if you look at USF, if you just go into PFF Plus and you look at USF and they're 104th in run defense grade, okay, fine. On the surface, that's not great. Memphis has an advantage. But keep in mind, their first 3 games came against Boise State, Florida, and Miami. Any Group of Five team, especially, that has to play those 3 back-to-back to start the year, the overall numbers are not going to look great. If you look at USF's last 4 games in run defense, they've been absolutely outstanding. Now, again, not as great opponents as those teams, but we even saw it in the big game at North Texas. They shut down the run game, the designed run game. Since week 4, USF is 15th in the nation in run defense grade. They're 9th in yards per carry allowed. They are 2nd in yards before contact per carry allowed, and they have the second highest rate of positively graded plays in run defense over their last 4 games. They've all of a sudden, Mac Harris at linebacker is the biggest reason for it, number 24. Jalen Schuler right next to him is really good, a really good defensive line unit that isn't great as a pass rush unit. That's the one, I think, big weakness on this defense is they don't get a lot of pressure on quarterbacks, but they've been outstanding up front in run defense too. I think that's a huge factor, especially if A.J. Hill is playing for Memphis. Is USF going to keep up this momentum they've had for the last month in run defense? If they do that, Memphis is going to find it very hard to score points because Todd Orlando's defense, this is by far the best defense that they've had since Alex Golesh and Todd Orlando showed up there in Tampa. It's getting better every week, especially against the ground game.
I think it's a great point you just made about USF's run defense and why the numbers are a little bit skewed because of their opponents the first 3 weeks of the year and how they've been so much better in run defense and really what the overall number suggests right there, which is why context is important for a lot of the numbers that we have here at PFF. Speaking of mobile quarterbacks, Memphis has got to contain Byron Brown in this game and force him into mistakes in this one. Byron Brown has been one of the most electric quarterbacks, not only in the group of five, but in the entire country so far this year. 84.4 PFF grade is 8th among group of five quarterbacks. 12 big-time throws. That's 11th in the group of five. 329 rushing yards after contact, as well as 5th in the entire country. He's averaged over 125 rushing yards per game in USF's last 3 games. But Byron Brown has also made some head-scratching mistakes with 7 turnover-worthy plays and 5 fumbles so far this year. Memphis's pass defense has not been very good so far this year. They're 94th in pass rush grade. They're 70th in coverage grade. To make up for their lack of a pass rush, they do blitz a good amount. They have the 35th highest blitz rate in America at about 43%. And Byron Brown is only 103rd in the nation against the blitz this year with a 61.3 PFF grade. 5 of his 7 turnover-worthy plays on the year have come against the blitz this season. Memphis is also very, very good at defending the run. They're right now 12th in America in team run defense grade this year. But it is worth pointing out that Memphis did have some issues with Arkansas quarterback Taylon Green when they beat Arkansas earlier this year. Taylon Green ran for 62 yards on 11 carries against Memphis with 5 broken tackles. Also, Taylon Green had a 78.1 PFF grade. Arkansas put up 31 points in that ballgame. It was ultimately a shootout. And I would say, Dalton, that Taylon Green and Byron Brown's play styles and talent level is very, very similar.
Yeah, agreed. I think you're right there on the play style where they can make a huge explosive play with their arms or their legs on any given play, and it's just ball security is the big thing. I really believe that Byron Brown, if he is secure with the football, he can lead this USF to a win over almost any team in the country. It's just a matter of the ball security, and if he and it seems for him at times the mistakes come in waves, right? We saw that early in the North Texas game where it's not just one, and Alex Golesh is always preaching, hey, next play, no matter what happens on the last one, just next play, move on. But sometimes for Byron Brown, you get 2 or 3 in a row, and that's when things really start to get difficult for this USF offense because then they're trying to claw their way back. When he doesn't turn the football over, this offense is incredibly dangerous, right? And I think the one thing I like about it, too, more so than pass use, just more receiving depth. Whereas in the past couple of years, it was Sean Atkins and who knows who else is catching the football. This year, Chaz Nimrod, and we'll see if he's healthy because he missed last week's game against FAU. Keyshawn Singleton, the true freshman Jeremiah Koger has emerged over the last few weeks at receiver. They've got receiving depth. They've got running back depth. They've got everything that Alex Golesh wants in his offense for the first time since he's been there. It's just about Byron Brown not turning the ball over. And if they don't turn the ball over, I really think they probably – I think they're the best team in the group of 5 if he doesn't turn the football over any given week.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So, ultimately, in what is one of the biggest games of the year in the group of 5 right now, who do you got winning, Dalton, between USF and Memphis?
It's going to be high scoring because games involving these two teams are always high scoring. That's just how it goes. I've got the Bulls 42-34. Now, hedging a bit for if Brendan Lewis is healthy, then Memphis obviously has a better shot to win this game. Plus, they're at home. If it's A.J. Hill out there, there's some things I worry about. Todd Orlando he can blitz you. He can mix up the zone looks on defense. And also this USF defense tied for the national lead with 17 takeaways, right? So maybe the yardage totals and the grading, and especially because USF games are played at such a fast pace with such a high play count, maybe those things don't always favor them on the surface. But when you take the football away at a rate like that, that makes your defense even better. I like Byron Brown as long as, again, he's not turning the football over. And I have questions about Memphis's secondary dealing with now the depth of receivers, especially if Nimrod is back healthy this week. I have questions about Memphis secondary in this game and just the fast pace that comes with, right? And USF.
And how much they blitz, too. I mean, that leaves even fewer DBs out there.
The one thing always with a USF or a Tennessee game or a team that plays at a super fast pace like that is can they get the first down of the drive? When they get that very first down, they're starting on their own 25, they get that first down, and then the hyper speed comes at you. You can't do all that. You just got to get out there and execute some base schemes at the right time. So I like USF in this game. I like them even more. Right now, as we're recording this, we don't know if Brendan Lewis is going to play. I like them even more if it's going to be the freshman quarterback A.J. Hill for Memphis, but I think USF's offense gets it done again here.
I have USF as well, 34-24. I think if Brendan Lewis does not play, like Dalton said, USF's defense could have a huge advantage in this game because of how good their run D has been in recent weeks. And I think also Byron Brown will take advantage of a below-average Memphis pass defense and the Bulls continue to stake their claim right now as the best team in the group of 5. Should be a great game, and hopefully Brendan Lewis is able to go out there. But even with Brendan Lewis out there, I still would have picked USF as well. I have USF winning this game 34-24 and covering that 5.5 point spread right now.